Hey, so in this video, I want to help you out with what you can set in your filters. Now, I know that we touched up on this in the retailer video, but I just wanted to go through this in a bit more detail, okay? So I currently have what I call my best filter applied, literally what it is. So this is just what I would like to see from a deal, but of course, how you set this up is completely down to you, and I'm going to show you how to save a preset as well. So ROI, we can set a minimum and a maximum. Because profit and ROI, we don't really need to set a cap on something like the maximum, because the more profit, the more ROI, the better. So we could set that at a really high number. It doesn't really matter. It's more the minimums that we're looking at here. So it could be that anything that makes me $1.50 is what I'm looking for. ROI might go for 20. Let's set that. BSR, now we can change between percentage and numbers, so if you want to work specifically with numbers, then of course you can go ahead and do that. And percentage wise as well, so this is basically in the top 40% of the items category is where the item is considered to be. So we could set that lower if we wanted it to be more so the top percentage of that items category. So we could go a bit lower and we could do that at like 25. It's completely up to you. If you had it at like 100%, then you could be allowing room for Sellerbility to show you things where the BSR isn't really that great. So compared to the other deals at least. So it's completely up to you how you want to do this. I prefer to work with percentage, but it's completely up to you. We have search age, so filter how recently deals were found by both retailer and Amazon products. So it could be when Sellerbility picked this up, because what the algorithm does is it's really clever. If someone else starts a scan for this store, it will be using collective data from that scan to help speed it up that bit more. So some of the deals in there could be something that it came to Sellerbility's attention maybe a couple of days ago. So you can see right here, it actually came across this item 2 days ago, and of course it's been pulled through from the scan. And of course this is the most up-to-date information from Amazon. Retailer products, so we can have a look at availability. So if we only want to bother with things that are in stock, then of course we can leave that one ticked. But I wouldn't always knock out of stock, because if stuff falls back in stock, that can be quite useful. And stuff doesn't stay out of stock forever, and it could just be out of stock online, so you never know. If you're into retail arbitrage, you like doing a bit of that as well, then seeing things that are out of stock, it doesn't necessarily mean nope, you can't have that deal whatsoever. It just means that not right now, or potentially it's available just in store. So we won't know till we have a proper look. We can break down the category for the item as well, and the retailer. So if we were in a category scan, we could choose what specific store we want to have a look at within that category. So if we wanted to see everything from Best Buy in a category scan rather than any of the stores right now, we can change that. Amazon products, so we can set a minimum and maximum number of sellers on the item. So I would always recommend having at least 3 as your minimum, because you want to rule out private label items or items whereby Amazon has restricted it, so just them and the brand themselves can sell that item, because you do get that with some things. So just to rule out those things that typically, if it's only got one seller, it's not really going to be very good news 95% of the time. So having a minimum of 3 is good. Sales per month, you can set a minimum and maximum. So what's the lowest amount of sales you'd accept per month? So it's completely up to you. Now, you might want to up this a bit more, so maybe at least 50, and you're cutting out some stragglers there. Products with or without dimensions, so the risk with having products without dimensions showing as well is the fact that obviously you're not going to know what the dimensions of that product are, which of course can be crucial for packing. It can be crucial for Of course, Amazon fees, because part of those fees is based on things like that. So if you have a large item, for example, that would incur oversized charges. And of course, if you don't know it, then you can't account for it, and unless, of course, you use your own guesswork. Do you want fragile items? Items that are being sold by Amazon as well. So when they're on the listing, initially I might just look at items that don't have Amazon on there because I don't really want to compete with them. But not every item is dominated by Amazon just because they're present on it. So I could just show all of them. I might not be interested in multi-packs, so I could exclude them, or I can include them, or anything. Items that just have fulfilled by merchant sellers on them. I can hide large appliances. Again, that helps me avoid the oversized charges. I can include or exclude certain words in the retailer title or Amazon title. So I could, if I know that there's a brand that I want to avoid because I know that there could be an IP issue with it, I might then want to exclude a certain brand to avoid them in the scan. Now, if we take a look at price, we can set a minimum and maximum cost for the product. So really, I would just set 0 or 1 or whatever for the minimum unit cost, because obviously the lower we can get the item, the better. For a maximum, here you might want to think about it a little bit more, because in one go, how much are you actually wanting to spend? Amazon price, so the lowest and highest price for the item on Amazon. We can hide matches without a buy box. And we can set a minimum and maximum for the BuyBot Pro confidence score, for the profit margin, for the break even, and we can set a minimum and maximum for the match confidence score. We can show deals that have notes where we've added a note. And eligibility, we can go for eligible or apply to sell, not eligible. To be honest, I wouldn't really rule out things like that. I might look for eligible stuff initially, but then I might also have a look at apply to sell later on as well. So in case we want to go for anything like that. But to save a preset, all we need to do is give it a name. We can give it a name here and then add it, and that is our new preset. And we can choose that any and every time we come into a Sellerbility scan to help us find products that bit quicker.